Hey everybody, it's Gina here from Gina Makes It. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am sharing this beautiful Easter egg journal that I recently completed. I'm showing you step by step how to create it for yourself. I have a free template to create the cover and the back cover and the inside pages on my website at ginamakeitit.com. And I am also using some new printables that are in my shop called Peach Blossom. And you can access that through the links in the description box if you are interested. So a few other supplies that this journal uses is some vintage book pages. That's how I created the inside. I also have a lot of vintage lace and vintage trims. And I use my sewing machine. I use some fabric tack glue. I have some paper clips. I have some sari silk. And then I also am using some antique tape in the middle of each signature. So I'll go into all of that in a little bit, but first let's just walk through this beautiful journal. So the outside of the journal is larger than the inside, and I achieved this by just shrinking the template by 10% to trace the inside pages. And then I did a lot of decorating with some vellum, and I created lots of ephemera. And I also wanted to mention that this journal is also for sale in my Etsy store. So it is a beautifully handcrafted journal that I really put a lot of love into. And if you are looking for a new journal for spring or for Easter and this journal is calling to you, then go ahead and click that link in the description box and you'll be taken right to the listing for it. There's a lot of sewing in this journal, and I'm also giving you some additional antique tape in case you need it for those delicate inside connections between each of the book pages. But that is a flip through of this journal, and let's get started. Let's make this journal. So here is the template, like I said, that can be found on my website at ginamakeitit.com, and I am just going to glue these onto a piece of cardboard. Now I realized that this cardboard was too small, so I quickly grab a larger cardboard. Now you're probably saying, well, if that's a template, why are you gluing it down and not tracing it onto something? Well, the reason is that I thought it would just be easier to print it out and cut it out versus printing it out, cutting it out, then tracing it and then cutting it, because I'm going to glue it on this cardboard because I want to cover up the darkness of the brown of the cardboard. So I'm just going to glue it down and cut it out. Now, if you are using a base that is not dark, then of course you can just trace your shape directly onto that and cut it out. You don't need to print it and glue it and then cut it. It's just not necessary. So once I have it cut out, I'm actually going to glue some batting onto the top of this because my inspiration for this journal was a pillow that I saw somebody make out of some vintage lace. And so I kind of wanted that look, that puffiness on the cover of my journal. So I'm just adding some glue to the white part, and I just have some quilt batting here that I have left over from a quilt that I made, and I'm going to actually put 3 layers of this on because I do want it, like I said, a little bit on the puffy side. So I'm just gluing them down in layers. So once I get that first layer down, I'm going to just give it a little trim around the perimeter, and then once I have that done, I'm going to spread my fabric tack glue as best as I can, because if you've ever done this, you know how hard it is because it gets all gooey and stringy and stuff. So that's why I'm just dotting it to try and create as little strings as possible. So this piece is just it's just one piece that I folded over to create 2 pieces. So I'm just stretching it out, folding it over, and then I'm going to trim around the perimeter just like I did with the first one. So once I have that done, I'm going to start to create my cover with the fabric. Now this is just some muslin and it's kind of see-through, so that's why I decided to print out the other template on some cream cardstock, because the white I thought would just be too white peeking through. The cream actually works very well. So I'm just on the other side gluing down my cream colored template on top of this brown egg shape, so you won't be able to really see through it because I don't want to see any white. I want it to look very cohesive. Once I get done doing that, I'm going to sandwich my little egg shape here with the other muslin. Now you can see how you can see through it, so I'm really glad that I actually did use that cream colored template, because once it's all put together you really can't see it, but I think you might have been able to if I used the white. So I just trim it down to size and then I pin it, and what I'm going to do is take it to my sewing machine and just sew all the way around the egg shape. I moved my needle all the way to the left, as far left as I possibly could, because I wanted to get it as close to the edge of the egg as possible, because I wanted to create like a very tight shape. So you can see here it is done. I went around it a few times with my sewing machine and I knew that it was going to be messy. I kind of liked that messy look. I did use a darker thread this first time around, but when I go around with the lace, I do change the thread so it blends in. I didn't really like the way that darker thread looked. Now I am placing my vintage lace exactly where I want it to go. So I keep moving it around and trying to find the perfect sort of placement of the flowers on top of it. And once I get the right spot, I just start to pin it a little bit closer than I did the first time. So the first time I was just kind of sandwiching it. This time I want a really tight stitch around the edge, so you can see it really popped up. It really puffed up after I got it out of the sewing machine. I actually had like my presser foot on top, one side on top of the cardboard, not the needle, just a presser foot, so I could get very, very close to that edge. So once I am done sewing that, and I went around a couple times just like I did with the first one, I'm just trimming it with my scissors, and I take a little bit of time to do this, a lot more time than I show in the video, and I just get really close to the edge but not too close, and I kind of want the edges fluffed, and so that's what I spent a little bit of time doing. Once I was done doing that, I decided to create my inside pages, and so I shrunk my original template by 10%, as you can see here, and I'm just tracing them and cutting them out. And what I'm tracing them on are actually book page spreads. So this is a vintage book. I didn't really care about the writing. I just liked the color of the pages. And so I just went ahead and traced all of my templates on a folded book page. So then once I cut around it and I opened it, I had an inside spread. Now, because these are vintage, like these book pages are from the late 19th century, so it's very old. I did use some antique tape, some tape that I just put some alcohol ink on the middle of every single spread like that, just so it didn't tear, just because it was fragile. And I do include some extra tape in case you're working in the journal if you purchase it and it does start to tear, so then that way you can just repair it that way. So I basically assemble my signatures the exact same way that I did in my previous video about just gluing the front and the backs together, and you just keep doing that for as many pages as you want. So you can see here I'm just flipping through and I'm just going to keep gluing as many pages from back, left side back to right side front, just gluing them together until I achieve my desired amount of pages. Because this is an Easter egg, I figured that it probably wouldn't need like a million pages, and plus I kind of like having less pages in it because then you can kind of do more on the inside and it won't get too bulky. So I'm just taking care to glue each back to front, and I'm flipping through each time I glue together just so the pages don't get glued together, because that has happened to me before where I didn't flip through it and the pages did get glued together. So you can see here I am adding some of that antique tape, and that is just a precaution because my pages are so vintage. They are a little bit delicate. So I'm putting my pages to the side for a second, and I completed the back cover the exact same way I did the front cover, except I didn't add any vintage lace. So I just stopped after I sandwiched my two pieces of muslin together. I decided I wanted to add this vintage lace to the back. I really liked the way that looked. It reminded me of like a stripe on an Easter egg, and after I got done gluing one side, I decided that I was going to use the flap of the vintage lace over the exterior of the spine. There's no reason for me to do that other than just for aesthetics, for the way that it looks. So you'll see here is the back side, and this is the side that's going to face to the back. But then I actually flip it over and I undo that left side, and then I glue it to the inside cover. Now you can see that I had glued my signature already, but I pulled it off because I realized that I wanted to add this extra detail to the spine, and I'm really glad that I did. I do like the way that the exterior of those folded pages look, like in my last journal. I liked the way that that looked, not the tutorial I just did, but my Soft and Lovely journal. But for this one, I just wanted this beautiful vintage lace to cover those folded edges. So now I'm going to create the template or the pieces of paper that are going to go on the inside cover and the inside back cover. So I'm just tracing the regular template here, and I'm going to trace it and cut it out. And these are those new printables that I was talking about that are in my Etsy shop that are called Peach Blossom. And I'm just using some of the ephemera pages and the collaged pages, and I'm kind of being fussy where I'm cutting because I want that flower to be sort of central, and then I did some sewing around the edges I'm showing you here, and that's just going to go there. But first we're going to have to glue our signature onto that page first and then put this on top, but we'll get there. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So I'm going to trace the inside back cover template on another one of those printables here, and then I'm going to cut it out just like I did, and then I'm going to do a little bit of sewing exactly how I did with the inside cover. Now that is complete, I am going to take my first page of my glue together signature, and I'm going to add my glue all around the edges, and this is going to get glued down on the inside cover on the left side there. It's going to go as close to the middle. I'm going to make that spine area get as close to the right side as possible without sticking out, because we're not going to see this glue down page because our inside cover is going to be covered by that little Easter egg that we just created. And so now I'm just adding glue to it all around the edges, and then I'm going to place it directly on top of that signature that we just glued down there. And it, like I said, it's going to cover every single part of it except for that piece of antique tape, which I actually kind of like the way that it looks. Gives it a very kind of vintagey vibe. And you can see the fabric is sticking out the edges and some of the lace is sticking out, and I'm just really, really loving the way that this is coming together. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing with the back page here, except I'm going to glue it onto the inside back cover, and I'm going to repeat the process exactly. I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to cover it with my little Easter egg template here. So once I get this down, I think it's pretty important for you to kind of stop at this moment and make sure that your journal is going to close properly and that it's going to open properly as well. And just make sure that everything is functioning the way that it should be. So here I have a little bit of stickage, so I unstick that, and I'm just paging through to make sure that all is well inside of the journal. So now it is the next day, and I decided to cover my inside pages with yet more Easter egg shapes. I went through and I created these by reducing my template by 15% because I want them even smaller. So there, I shrank it by 15%, and I traced it on my printables, and then I cut it and I sewed all around the perimeter. And now I'm going to distress the edges of my Easter egg pages, and then I'm going to glue down each of these cut and sewn Easter eggs on the middle of the page. The way that I'm distressing it is I'm just kind of lifting the edges. So inevitably, because I glued these pages together, there are some spots around the edges that aren't glued down. And I'm taking that as an opportunity to kind of pull it up and lift it and curl it and rip it, and it just gives kind of that worn vintage look. And then once I'm done doing that, I'm even going to take my scissors and scrape the edge of the egg to try and add a little bit more distressing. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to take my ink. I'm just using Vintage Photo, and I'm just going to lightly go over those distressed edges. Then I'm going to put my glue on my inside page, my inside page, and I'm going to glue it right down in the middle. And you can see those distressed edges sort of create a nice little border around these beautiful Easter egg pages on the inside, and they are just beautiful. And because you're using a template that you're tracing on the paper, you're able to kind of fussy cut what image you want on that paper. So that's a nice thing about using just like a hand tracing system versus like a Cricut or something like that. So once I get it down, I'm just going to go around and do a little bit more distressing where I think it might need it, add a little bit more ink, and then I'm just going to do the exact same thing for every single page. And then once I'm done with this is when I started my decorating and adding ephemera, making ephemera, and I don't include that because that's something that's a little bit different than just creating the journal. But you can see here, there is my inside cover, and then I'm just going to page through. Here are all of my distressed pages and my decorated sort of internal pages. And now it's time to start actually adding all of those little touches that make this journal beautiful. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.